You clicked on this video because you were interested in tackling your weak points. Well, in 2026, we pretty much have, I would say, the best information available on how to do this. And I'm gonna keep it super simple so I don't waste any of your time. The first thing we're gonna do is focus on prioritization. So if you have a muscle that you feel like really needs to come up, which for me is a couple. It's traps, definitely. Triceps are very small compared to the rest of my body. And those are probably the most critical. Forearms, to neck, a couple other muscles could come up, but those are the most critical. So the most important thing, the first thing you're gonna do is just place the muscle near the beginning of the exercise, of the workout. So this is my third set of this bilateral tricep extension here. It's a very nice, stable exercise, trains all three heads of the triceps very well. And this is at the very beginning. And this might seem simple, but a lot of people don't actually realize what their weak points are, and they're sequencing them near the end, and it's like, oh, well, your forearms are small. How come your forearms are small? Well, I did 3 sets of wrist curls. Oh, and what'd you do them with? Oh, a dumbbell. Where'd you put them? At the end of the workout. And are you progressively overloading week to week? Have you gotten stronger week to week? A lot of people can't even answer that. So you should be treating every muscle the same. So if you're not treating your weak points with the same level of meticulousness as you might be your bench press or your squat or a major fun compound lift, then you're leaving gains and time on the table. So because my triceps really are a priority right now, we're putting them here at the very beginning. So this is my third set. My volume is slightly higher for this. I mean, I'm not gonna do 1 set of triceps. That would be stupid. I mean, this is an important muscle for me. So these are coming at the very beginning. Will it take a little bit away from my chest? Sure, and that's fine. That's a part of the process, so I'm not worried about that. We got this here at the very beginning, and this is my third set, so I'm not gonna be as good as my first or second, but this should be pretty good, and we're gonna see what we got. You ready? Focus on extension. Here we go. Oh man, that was pretty hard, but we just got 5, so we're gonna keep going, and I'll get into a few more other strategies you guys might want to pay attention to. All right, now another concept that a lot of people think they know, but then leave out a lot of the time, is understanding whether or not you're actually isolating the muscle that you're trying to train. So if my chest is my weakness, right? If this is my weak point, would I want to do a press that's like very heavily tricep dominant or like throws a bunch of front delt in? Probably not. Now, it's not always worth splitting that hair and worrying about it. There are certain times where it's truly not worth worrying about it if it's a really solid lift, but it's a little bit more on the compound of a lift side. That's fine. There are certain compound lifts that are super, super useful that I think most people would benefit from doing. But if you really have a weak point, if you're not actually isolating it, okay. If you have a weak point and you're not actually isolating it, you are leaving a lot on the table. And that's a pretty, it's a pretty sad thing to do, especially if you train for years and years and years, because you're missing out on all this valuable time where you could really be sending all the motor unit recruitment. You could be sending all of the signal that your brain is sending out to your nervous system to complete the movement. You could be sending it all to one spot, okay? So, for example, upper chest, right? Upper chest, we know, is super, super active when you have shoulder flexion. You're flexing the shoulder like this, and you're adducting the humerus, this upper arm bone, you're adducting it, you're bringing it across the body. So if we want to really, really do that well, we should pick a fly variation or a press that allows us to do both things. So for upper chest, this hoist machine is probably one of the best options out there. So you guys can see, we'll do 1 rep here. That's really, really nice. That's a really, really nice way to emphasize the upper chest. So last time I was here, I did the pin on 15, and I did this last time for 4 with 1 in the tank. So my goal is to increase my reps with the same RIR. That's the goal. That's the cleanest goal you should set. So if you're training to 1 rep in reserve, try to get 1 more rep with the same reps in reserve next time. Or if you don't think you're great at that, just get more reps. Don't worry about reps in reserve if you can't execute. That's the thing people do a lot, where they'll talk about reps in reserve, but they're actually not training accurately enough to even know what their RIR is. So a lot of people I don't even think should worry about that, to be honest with you. So I've got the pin on 15. We're gonna tie in our wrists, thumb around, and here we go. We're gonna go for it, all right? Keep the head back, nice and stable. I want my upper chest to grow, right? So the goal is to get this for 5 with 1 in the tank. That's gonna be tough. That's a huge increase, but we'll see. You ready? All right. All right. Well, that was 4. We matched the performance. You don't want to tank the form. That's something people do too. They'll go for an extra rep and they start cheating. They start getting a bunch of other crap involved. Don't do that. Just accept that you haven't progressed it yet. They haven't progressed yet, and that's fine. Just be patient. This takes a lot of time.